Have you guys ever wondered what's worse than getting hit by Truck Kun? I'll tell you, getting smacked by his grimy, loud, dumpster-scented cousin, Garbage Truck Kun. Our protagonist? A classic virgin loser who got backstabbed by his teammates inside a game. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, bam! Garbage Truck Kun enters stage left and ends his miserable run. But fate had other plans. He gets a second shot. Regression powers unlocked. This time, he's not here to make friends. He's here for revenge. And how does he plan to do it? By becoming a necromancer and soloing everything. Raids, solo, bosses, solo. That thick, manipulative villainess who ruined his life, she's on the list. If that sounds like your kind of petty, undead-fueled vengeance story, hit that like button and stick around for the full video. The title of this manhwa? Emperor of Solo Play. Comment Skelly if you want. Part 2. Enjoy. The story opened in-game, particularly in Woldberry Forest. A man was exhausted and hurt. His comrades have been badly injured as the enemy surrounds them. The leader of the enemy had been sitting comfortably on a throne. The enemy wore a blue and white knight uniform. One of them said that even with all their efforts, the person that they are waiting for still hasn't shown up. They decided to kill the last man who was still up. An executioner, a man with a helmet, topless getup, and an axe was about to do the deed. The man alive saw the axe coming. Suddenly, a silver-haired guy appeared. This person slashed the executioner before it could harm the man. The injured men were delighted to see this silver-haired guy named Jae-hyun. The men in blue and white uniform identified this silver-haired guy as Hurkan. They decided to rush at him together. The silver-haired guy glared at them. In one swift move, the silver-haired guy had cut those men down. He asked them if they really think that coming at him all at once would make a difference. He stated that those guys won't be able to beat him. This person is Hurkan. His real name is An Jae-hyun. He is affiliated with Ha-Ho Mask, and his nickname is Hero Slayer. The injured men apologized to Jae-hyun, saying that it was all because of them. They never expected an ambush. Jae-hyun asked what they were apologizing for. He extended his hand, and he told the guy that it was fine and encouraged him to get up. Those men were touched. Jae-hyun told them that it's not even their fault. He told them to blame the pathetic loser who's always lagging behind because she lacks the skills. He's pertaining to the woman on the throne. The woman commented that Jae-hyun's friendship with those injured men is touching. She asked Jae-hyun why he's acting so sentimental. She stated that even if trash bonds together, nothing will come of it. This woman is Sire. Her real name is Chai Seolyeon. She is affiliated with Thunder Hunters and has the nickname of Queen of Thunder. Jae-hyun scoffed. Then he pointed out that Seolyeon clenches her teeth and charges in every time she gets destroyed by whom she called trash. Seolyeon warned him to watch his mouth and not to regret it and cry later. Jae-hyun touched his watch. Then he uttered, "Slot on." An eye mask and sword materialized. He also had a black and gold armor on. All of his equipment changed into looking more powerful. He then uttered, "Regret? Ha! That's something only weaklings like you feel." Seolyeon got annoyed with this arrogant bastard. She ordered her men to kill him. Jae-hyun told her that she never learns. He's confident that she can't kill him. But as soon as he said those words, a sword pierced right through his chest. Jae-hyun was confused. The men he just saved had stabbed him in the back. System informed him that his HP is rapidly decreasing. His movement was restricted. He fell face flat on the ground. He asked what was the meaning of it. The man apologized for deceiving him. The man reasoned that they have to make a living. He hoped that Jae-hyun wouldn't hate them for doing that. Jae-hyun was shocked. Seolyeon then started to laugh at Jae-hyun. She called him stooped to get all caught up in the little friendship fantasy. She stated that it doesn't matter in front of money. She called Hurkan and told him that she would remove him from the game, and that if she kills him that way every time he logs in, he won't be able to make progress. She knew that he's also a full-time warlord gamer, that he's a worthless piece of trash with nothing going for him but the game. She told him that it's too bad for him, because he's back to being trash again. Jae-hyun's hand scratches the dirt in anger. Then he got up and attacked Seolyeon. Blood splattered. Jae-hyun was surprised. Seolyeon simply uttered, "Oh my." All 5 men that he saved stabbed him all at the same time. Seolyeon thanked those men. Jae-hyun asked them why when they knew how much he has for the guild. The leader of the men told him to just die already. He reasoned that they offered them hundreds of millions just to kill him. Jae-hyun couldn't believe that they'd do it just because of money. He had done so much for them. Those men even said that they're family. He felt angry. With that, red notification windows flooded his screen. The system warned him that he had died, and as a penalty, he can't log in for 48 hours. Then, our boy woke up. Jae-hyun got up from the capsule. He was in agony from losing everything. The game that he was playing just now is called Warlord. It is a game that became a massive global hit. It is based on AI-driven virtual reality that earns unimaginable amounts of money. And in that world was the only thing Jae-hyun is ever good at. In real life, he was always called trash. Back then, the leader of the men who betrayed him told him that he's amazing at that game. That man got curious on what level Jae-hyun is. Then that man invited Jae-hyun to join his guild. Jae-hyun felt that the only place he belonged was in that game. That was the case. So now, he was in rage. Jae-hyun decided not to forgive them. He grabbed his coat and ran to the streets. His plan is to find them all and kill them. He questioned the reason why he had to go through those hardships just so those bastards can live a good life. He called Dong-soo. Little did he know the red light for pedestrians was on. The cars continued to pass by. Jae-hyun thought that if he only knew that things would turn out like that. The light of the car flashes at him as it approaches. He regretted caring about anyone else from the beginning. The truck was getting dangerously close to Jae-hyun. Then blood was spilled. Jae-hyun got hit and was laying on the pavement. His phone notified him that the number he dialed is unavailable. Ironically, Jae-hyun was hit by a garbage truck. He didn't want to die yet. He thought of the traitorous bastard, and Seolyeon, the bastard who screwed him over. He wanted to take revenge on all of them, brutally. Then, he lost consciousness. Suddenly, a light appeared. A loading icon had appeared. User verification was in progress. Hirkin was welcomed in the game. He opened his eyes. He has to finish the tutorial, which is to survive against the labyrinth's master Minotaur. He was confused if he's really a warlord. He's confused as to why he's getting tutorial quests. Someone called him and told him to stop spacing out and pull himself together. They reminded him of the notification, to take down that Minotaur. The Minotaur growled loudly. The 2 men saw corpses. Including Hirkan? The 3 of them will have to take it down together. Hirkan was confused because he knew that the Minotaur was removed 5 years ago because of the difficulty issues. The man who heard him was confused. Then he informed him that Warlord was released only 10 months ago. That came as a surprise to Hirkan. The 2 men find him odd. They told them to tank for a bit when they gave him the signal, but Hirkan just stood up and picked up a sword. They asked him where he's going. Then to their surprise, Hirkan started running towards the Minotaur. They asked if he's insane. They thought he's going to die. Hirkan was focused on the Minotaur, and then our boy just performed multiple and accurate slashes that cut down the monster. The Minotaur fell. The 2 guys were surprised that he was able to take down the monster in one blow. The 2 guys exchanged glances at each other. Then they called him. Then they told Hirkan that he has talent. They invited him to their guild. That reminded Hirkan of his experience with the traitorous bastard. Hirkan glared at them. Hirkan informed them that he just made a decision. The two guys were looking hopeful, but suddenly Hyrcan slashed them. Blood had splattered. Hyrcan uttered that if he trusts people again in that life, he would be comparable to a dog. With this, the hero slaughterer, Hyrcan, has regressed. After that, Jae-hyun got up from the VR capsule. He was surprised to see where he was. This guy had been playing in a freaking VR store. He remembered that he was broke 5 years ago, so he used to play games on the showroom devices in the stores. It made him think if he had actually regressed. Upon realizing that, he was in a hurry since he got things to do. He ran as fast as he could. He wanted to take advantage of his 5 years' worth of future information and experience. And if he uses it, he was certain to get his revenge. He headed to the cashier and brought out his credit card. He immediately bought the base mode V gear. The salesperson accepted his card. Our MC was planning on what to do when he didn't immediately hear the salesperson calling him. He was informed that he doesn't have enough funds. This broke-ass boy was dumbfounded. He can only curse. He realized that if he had the money for it, he would have bought one already. Otherwise, he wouldn't be gaming in the store. He wondered what he should do. He thought that earning money at that moment would be too late. Then he heard a voice. Suri's advertisement was being played on the screen. She was ranked #1 as a warlord model. She's inviting people through the ads to be a warlord. Jae-hyun watched the ad. He remembered something that was still fresh in his memory. Suri tells him that he's back to being trash again. With that, Jae-hyun was reminded that it's not the time to wait around. At dusk, the brand new V-gear was placed. The installation was complete and Jae-hyun can start using it immediately. The quickest way for him to get the money was to go to a lending company. Apparently, he borrowed 10 million won. He was about to get the ticket from the table when the man took something from his coat's pocket. It was a knife, and he stabbed the table between Jae-hyun's fingers. Jae-hyun was threatened that if he can't pay them back, his life is going to become hell. Jae-hyun was scared, but did it anyway. He was willing to fall into hellfire and risk everything again, if it meant that he could get his revenge at those bastards. He connected inside the VR gear. Identifying the user started. Then it was confirmed. Hyrcan was welcome to Warlord. Hyrcan expected someone to arrive soon. Before he could remember the woman's name, he was being congratulated on clearing the tutorial. A gold-haired woman with a halo and spider legs on her back appeared. She introduced herself as Ariadne, and her task is to help Hyrcan in his career. She was the one that Hyrcan was expecting. She extended her hand to the adventurer and told him to choose among the basic classes. There are 3 basic classes, and the skills that Hyrcan use to level up there will determine the specific class that he will be in. The warrior class fights in the front with melee weapons. Ariadne recommends it if Hyrcan wants some exciting action. Hyrcan thought about it. He was certain that he could level up quickly because he had already done it in the past, but it gets harder to play solo as he proceeds. He told Ariadne that he'd pass on that. Ariadne told him about the cleric. With this class, he can use the power of healing to buff and heal others. It was an auto-pass for Hyrcan. He expressed that he didn't want to be looking after others' access. That leaves only one option left. Ariadne wishes him to have an entertaining adventure. She opened her hand, and something started shining from it. She gave him a golden glow that wraps around his body. Hyrcan was informed that he had chosen the basic class. He was immediately transported to the corresponding class tower. An old man welcomed Hyrcan inside the tower. The old man introduced himself as Golko, the guide to the path of magic. He is a magic class NPC. The old man asked Hyrcan on which type of magic he wishes to learn. Hyrcan immediately answered that he wants dark magic. Golko was confused. Hyrcan was confused that he's silent. Golko assumed that Hyrcan wanted earth magic. He tried to say that his hearing wasn't good because of his age. Hyrcan corrected him, saying that he wants dark magic. Golko panicked. He inquired as to where Hirakan heard about it. He stated that dark magic is powerful, but it brings the user's soul to ruin. Hirakan replied that he's aware. Hirakan clearly stated that he knows the risk and still wants to learn it. He was insistent that it should be dark magic. Golko couldn't believe it. He removed his skin and revealed a creepy skull. His appearance completely changed. He uttered that it has been a while since a brat chose that path. He told Hirakan that if he's ready, he should place his hand on the skill book. He reminded Hirakan to choose wisely. He was trying to inform Hirakan that it's a difficult path, but Hirakan didn't even let him finish. He placed his hand on the skill book. He confidently stated, "Let's move this along. Sorry, but I'm not one of those punks." Golko laughed out loud. He was amused. While Hirakan was being enveloped by the dark aura coming from the book, Golko commented, "What an interesting one. It's been so long." There was a famous video in Jae-hyun's past life. It was about a single necromancer who took down the boss, all alone. And Jae-hyun believes that it's the power that he needed. Few moments later, he was notified that he had been a necromancer. His title is Necromancer Initiate, and he had learned the skill Skeleton Fragment. He activated the skill, and a small skull came out of his hand. He dropped it on the ground, and the skull started reacting to something. Hirakan was informed that a skeleton warrior consumes mana to take form. In that life, he chose to be a necromancer. The small skull had formed to become a human skeleton. This officially marks the start of another necromancer MC. Hirakan was then eager to level up. But before he could look for a dungeon, the skull fell and rolled on the floor. Awkward silence filled the room. All Hirakan could say was, "Huh?" Few minutes later, a portal appeared. Hirakan exited through it. He was sighing. He had just entered the training dungeon. He was confused as to what's going on because it doesn't feel like the laid-back kind of skeleton that he used to see in his previous life. He checked the skill window. It showed the status of the skeleton fragment. The proficiency is F. Hirakan only has one summonable skeleton warrior. This skill allows the user to create a skeleton fragment. When magic is infused into the created skeleton fragment, the user may command a skeleton minion. Hirakan pondered if the reason was the low proficiency. It made him think that he needs to level up quickly. He heard a growling sound. It came at the right time. Those were coming from a coal wolf. They are the monsters used in training. Hirakan knew that coal wolves aren't strong, but they're quick, which makes them perfect for performance testing. He took out the skeleton fragment. He commanded it to go forth. The ball of blue flame shone brightly. Then it turned into a skeleton. The skeleton warrior detects the enemy and enters a combat stance. It growled loudly like it was ready to fight. Hirakan ordered the skeleton warrior to kill those coal wolves. The skeleton warrior focused on it. The coal wolves charged. Hirakan noticed that the skeleton warrior performs better than expected. At that rate, he expects to reach max level in no time. But in the next moment, the skeleton warrior broke into pieces. Hirakan was dumbfounded. What the fuck? The skull rolled to his feet. The skull looked like it's in tears. Skeleton warrior was somewhat embarrassed by what just happened. Hirakan made an ugly, surprised, and disgusted expression. He knew something was off. He immediately checked the skill window. He scrolled through it and saw the note about the creature being equipped with a deep learning system and learning from combat. The user should set a default mode. The options are defense mode, attack mode, and special action mode. Hirakan was relieved that the reason why is because he didn't set a mode. He chose defense mode, and the skeleton warrior's eyes glowed. But it was funny because the wolves are already having fun chewing the bones. You're just a second too late. Then, Hirakan tried the special action mode. Then, the skeleton warrior had begun dancing wildly. Seeing this, it was really worth it to be in the special action mode. Even the wolves started dancing. Hyrcan realized that he's fucked. The voice of Golko was heard along the way, that he tried to stop Hyrcan from doing this. All our MC could do was sigh and express that he's going to go crazy. He was notified that his character can't be deleted since his account is less than 3 months old. At this point, Hyrcan couldn't delete his character, nor can he change classes, and loan payments start next month. He thought of getting hit by a car again. At this point, the Coal Wolves were defeated. The skeleton behind him was in a combat stance. Hyrcan wondered why doesn't anything go right for him. Just when he thought things were finally looking up, he complains that the dumb bonehead isn't even any help. He let out a loud sigh. He told the skeleton to stay still because it's driving him nuts. It made him wonder how the necromancer that he saw in his previous life handles guys like this. Then he saw it. A crucial piece of information that could change everything. It was stated that the creature is equipped with a deep learning system and learns from combat. He realized that when he killed those coal wolves, it was watching him and learning from him. At this point, he saw the skeleton warrior being able to copy his combat stance. It made him grin. Hyrcan then gave the skeleton a stick. He told the skeleton that it's lucky to have a master like him. He stated that even if he doesn't look like it, people called him genius. He boasted that he even coached all his guild's members into becoming top rankers. He told the skeleton to remember one thing in combat, that if it doesn't dodge, it's dead. Hyrcan was about to punch the skeleton. It landed, and the skeleton was down on the ground. He told the skeleton that they will do it again and again. It was repeated again, and the skeleton kept getting hit. It kept crashing on the wall. Hyrcan scolded it that if it got hit, it should not just stand like an idiot, but to think of a follow-up. He told the skeleton to look for an opening after it dodges, then strike back. He asked the skeleton if it understands. The skeleton answered with its determined expression and was in a combat stance. Then it faced the coal wolves again, and this time the skeleton warrior was able to dodge. It even counterattacked. Then it hit the next wolf. The 3 wolves lost to it. The skeleton looked to Hyrcan with expectant eyes. Hyrcan asked what it was looking at. He reminded the skeleton not to get distracted during battle. Hyrcan stated that its last move wasn't bad. Hyrcan was notified that the proficiency of skeleton fragments is increasing. A bright yellow glow surrounded them like they just gained experience from the fight. Hyrcan told the skeleton that it passed. Hyrcan was notified by the system that his level has increased. After that, at the beginner village Fegus Castle, the streets were crowded. It was also noisy because people were advertising their guild. Hyrcan was thinking that the skeleton was actually worth teaching, and with a few more days of grinding, he will be able to solo the whole training dungeon. But he knew that the real challenge starts. He needs to reach level 10. Someone called Hyrcan, and it interrupted his thoughts. The person was angry that Hyrcan bumped into his shoulders. Hyrcan judges that those men looked like third-rate thugs. Hyrcan was getting annoyed. His time was precious to him, but he was being grabbed by the collar. He wondered if he should just kill them. The man was about to punch him. Surprisingly, a blond man in a Hawaiian shirt stopped the fist. He told the man that he shouldn't go around hitting people. The thug asked who he was and if he's with the guy that bumped into him. But instead of being relieved, Hyrcan had this uneasy expression as he recognized the blond man. Hyrcan saw the muscles and the weird fashion sense. It made him certain. That guy is Mathador Shev. He was a top-ranked warrior in his previous life. Hyrcan wondered what he's doing there. He was about to talk to him when someone screamed. The man in front spit. Then he threatened Mathador Chev to stay out of it when he didn't even know the guy. The man claims that Hyrcan hit him first. He argues with the saying, "An eye for an eye." Mathador Chev gave a small laugh. Then he released his aura. He tried being nice, but nobody really was pushing it. This fucker had his snot hanging while trying to maintain standing. Our boy also felt the pressure. It was really an incredible amount of aura. Then Mathadoshev claimed that the guy hit his palm with his fist, so he should do the same. The man got scared. Then he was informed of who the guy was. Apparently, Mathadoshev is the guild master of Red Bulls, one of the top 30 guilds. Additionally, he's known for how much he loves to fight. He's well known as Mathador, Killer Shev. The arrogant man earlier wondered as to why would someone like that be there. Mathadoshev grabbed the arrogant man's arm and asked him for his response. The man turned pale. He knew he fucked up. He apologized and ran away. Mathadoshev was glad to have resolved it using words. Then he asked Hyrcan if he's all right. He told him not to mind guys like that. Hyrcan brushed his hand off his shoulder. Mathadoshev didn't expect that. Then Hyrcan told him that he doesn't need to help him from then on. Hyrcan walked away. That left Mathadoshev confused. Mathadoshev commented that he's such a cold guy. Meanwhile, Hyrcan was pissed off, because at that moment he was intimidated by his power. He vowed that the next time they meet, he'll be a completely different person. This was really edgy. In a different setting, the torch lit up the area. It was like a cave. Hyrcan kept thinking about the gap between his power and Mathadoshev. He's aware that Shiru and Chev are on similar skill levels. In order to get revenge, Hyrcan knew he needed to become stronger. A monster appeared behind Hyrcan when he was in deep thought, but the skeleton easily took care of the monster. Hyrcan didn't even have to move. The skeleton brought down the monster. The notification system appeared to notify that the skeleton warrior had hunted the coal tiger. It leveled up. It looked Hyrcan expectantly, as if wanting to be praised. Hyrcan uttered those 3 days to reach level 10. It's longer than he expected. The skeleton got sad when it didn't receive any recognition. The system notified Hyrcan that he had reached level 10. He was informed that there were no longer monsters in the training dungeon. Hyrcan's beginner symbol has been removed. Rewards are being transferred. Hyrcan received a war watch, along with stats, quests, map, inventory, as well as the messenger. They are all features set up in the game. He hasn't felt that in a while. He excitedly checked the status window. It revealed his status. He's a level 10 Necromancer with 1 title. His strength and stamina is 3, while his intelligence and mana is 5. Just as he expected, his stats have been renewed. He was prompted to spend his stat points. His remaining SP is strength and stamina is 3, while his intelligence and mana are 5. Since it was his first time spending his stat points, Hyrcan was careful and wise. He knew that a necromancer would usually raise mana or intelligence. However, Hyrcan decided to put all points into strength. His strength has increased by 50. His total strength is 53. Our MC immediately felt the increase in his power. Meanwhile, the skeleton warrior looked horrified. It was sniffling. Hyrcan asked what it's doing. Hyrcan bonked it and told the skeleton warrior that he hasn't given up being a necromancer. He clarified that he's trying to teach him. Hyrcan explained that even if he raises his mana and intelligence, it won't have a big impact on his play. In contrast, if he can raise his strength, he can teach the skeleton warrior all his skills from when he was at his strongest. In short, he's betting his life on the skeleton warrior's growth. Skeleton warrior looked touched. Hyrcan reminded it to focus on its training. After all, there are other ways to compensate for the lacking stats. At Raiders Association, Figus Castle Branch, someone yelled that there's a fresh new quest. The players raced to get it. Hyrcan knew that quests around that time weren't good, so everyone's so enthusiastic. Hyrcan approached the old man on the counter and told him that he wanted a quest too. He requested to see the list. The old man replied that the ones in there are difficult tasks and no one really wants them. The old man assumed that Hyrcan was confident. In Hyrcan's head, he's expecting it all to be crappy, but he smiled. Perks of regressing, I guess. He had a hidden card. He found what he's looking for. At Bima Mountain's cave. The task is to eliminate all monsters near the Bima Mountain. The reward is 10 gold. The old man asked Hirkan if he's certain about it since it's a low-level quest that's only worth 10 gold. Hirkan replied, yes. He received the quest. Hirkan was thinking that if he clears the boring-looking quest before hitting level 15, he can get a super rare title called Prospect. It was good, because earning a title raises stats, and the Prospect title, in particular, raises stats by percentage. In other words, it will kickstart Hirkan's OP career. He was ready to set off. But before all that, our boy wanted to start fixing all of his equipment first. Few hours later, at Bima Mountain. Hirkan looked serious. It was because this fucker was in bunny ear outfit with pink pants, green belt, and monster feet. Despite his attempt to look cool, he looked weird. Even crows were not even intimidated by him. And he knew that. He cursed in his head. Apparently, our boy didn't have enough money after getting the skeleton's equipment, so he just got what he could only to end up looking like that. To end this, he decided to speedrun the quest and get clothes first. He ran while thinking of finishing the quest as fast as he could. The forest was quiet, until a bloody hand appeared from the bushes. The man asked for help. He kept begging. But instead of getting healed, he was dragged into the bushes again to hide his body. And there they were, the evil men that preys on newbies. Classic. Few hours ago, someone in the forest was excited. This person named Molty was looking forward to his adventure at Bima Mountain. He's under the impression that he's good at the game. He even sees himself as a ranker. Suddenly, someone yelled for help. The guy screams for help, since his friend was hurt. Molty rushed towards them and asked what the problem was. The guy explained that they were attacked by a monster which they have never seen before. They could barely escape, and they don't have any healing potions. Molty told them that he has few of them. The guy thanked him and promised to repay him. Little did he know, the payment was nothing Molty expected. A guy appeared behind him and was about to smash his head. Then, blood gushed out. Molty was shocked. The guy that was crying earlier thanked him and told him that they will make sure to use the items to its fullest. Molty realized he was tricked. He called them cowardly. The guy called him out for saying mean things, and the guy blamed Molty for being an idiot and falling for such a trick. With a final stab on the back, the player Molty has died. Player's watch was dropped. The bad guys commented that messing around with newbies is fun. They made fun of Molty's reaction. They are off to find their next prey. This team is called Ralph Family, a villain PK guild. Back to the present time, some wolves faced our favorite skeleton warrior. Those wolves rushed towards the skeleton. Hirkan flicked his finger and chose attack mode. As if something clicked, the skeleton warrior charges forward. It mercilessly slashed the wolves. Several notifications appeared that the skeleton warrior had hunted an ancient tree wolf. It gained some experience. Hirkan saw that now that the skeleton warrior has a sword, a pack of wolves means nothing to it. He was glad to pick the equipment for the skeleton first. He justifies that a true gamer cares about utility more than looks, but the truth is you're just broke my guy. It was funny because the skeleton warrior felt bad for his owner for looking that way. That slightly annoyed Hirkan. He told the skeleton warrior that if it was done, it should follow him. They had to level up quickly so they could clear the area. Skeleton warrior follows him. A light had shone above them. Then it struck the skull of a skeleton warrior. Hirkan saw the arrow. It was evident how the skeleton warrior was shocked. Then someone showed up and apologized. The man claims that the skeleton warrior looks like a monster from far away. He apologized again. Hirkan replied that it was okay. Then he noticed something. He saw the bloodied clothing and gear, plus the several war watches that the guy wore. Hirkan had this cold look on his eyes as he realized exactly what these guys were. but he shrugged it off and told them that he forgives them if they compensate him with a mana potion. Skeleton Warrior was annoyed. It broke the arrow in half. The guy said that they don't have potions. Then they guy suggested to help Hurkan with leveling up since he will automatically have his mana replenished by then. Hurkan asked if that's okay. The guy replied, yes. He acted like they're really sorry, that's why they're doing that. The monsters appeared right on time. The Ralph family told Hurkan that they would weaken the monsters and Hurkan could finish them off. But the Ralph family has a different plan. First, after taking the monsters' aggro, the mage will cast an attack buff on them and send one in Hurkan's direction while acting like he made a mistake. They expected the flustered bastard to die right away. These fuckers had these evil smile on their faces while waiting for that unfortunate event to happen. But their jaws dropped. They saw that Hurkan defeated the wolf. Our MC even scolded the skeleton warrior for being too slow on killing the monster. Hurkan told them that they are doing great, so the Ralph family can continue. Those three wondered how Hurkan's summon was so strong. It made them think that Hurkan's level is higher than it looks. They decided to send multiple monsters in Hurkan's way, and once he's distracted, they will take him down. The big guy from the Ralph family tries to smash Hurkan's head from behind, but he was taken aback when Hurkan had dodged it. Our boy knew this from the start. Hurkan slashed the guy. The remaining members of the Ralph family were surprised. Hurkan called the skeleton. It became vicious. Then Hurkan and the skeleton attacked at the same time. The Ralph family panicked. They knew they fucked up. In an instant, they were slashed. Skeleton Warrior really is improving and copied its master's movements. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hurkan told them that he knew about those kinds of bastards very well. The kind who backstabs people who trust them and take all they have. Hurkan admitted that if it was his old self, then their tactic would have worked. The guy apologized and negotiated that he'll give items instead. Hurkan replied, nope, I don't trust people anymore. Then he slashed the person. The player Ralph has died and a whopping 8 ownerless watches have dropped. Upon seeing the quantity, Hurkan couldn't help but comment how crazy the bastard is. But since it turned out that way, he plans to make good use of it, starting with his clothes. Meanwhile, Skeleton kept kicking the big guy on his injury. Blood splattered everywhere. Skeleton looked scary with the blood on it. It compelled Hurkan to offer the skeleton something for itself. Hurkan gave something to the skeleton and started reacting towards the cracked skull of our boy warrior. Few seconds later, its eyes lit up. It raised its sword and stood in confidence, fully healed and ready to fight again. Skeleton looked really happy. Hurkan noticed that it likes its gear so much. Hurkan lectured that appearance isn't important when playing the game, and what's important is the inside. Hurkan doesn't look credible when he's posing with his new look. I would too, if I am equipped with bunny clothes. Hurkan said the war watches from those bastards were total jackpots. By selling another player's war watch, a random item from their inventory will be dropped. Anything from rare items with options, like the Black Goblin Pants, a rare item that increases +5 to mana and intelligence. There's also the sword with the essence of an ancient tree, a rare item that increases +10 to mana. There's also a skill book like Demon's Curse, and even money. Hurkan rejoiced at having received a jackpot, and thanks to that, he was able to make something, and he had it quicker than expected. It was a mask. Hurkan is going to be recording his gameplay from then on, and creating a good identity for that purpose is important. He recalled a memory that someone told him that identity isn't important. Upon remembering that, Hurkan felt bad. He was talking to a guy about wearing a ha-ho mask because it will make them go viral. It made the guy named their guild Ha-Ho Mask. Hurkan even thought about going with a completely different identity. However, He didn't want other people to steal his things anymore. Because of betrayal, he changed the color of his mask to a darker one. He planned to use that to prove he was right. Our boy then wore his much more sinister mask and left with the skeleton warrior. Still in the Bima Mountain, they found a portal. They entered it and arrived at the Bima Mountain cave dungeon. Hyrcan has knowledge that blue werewolves appear in that cave dungeon. It's not an easy dungeon, but since he had better equipment now, he finds it doable. Hyrcan is aiming for a 10-minute run. Hyrcan, along with a skeleton, charges in. A few hours later, Hyrcan was in confusion because there weren't any monsters. He finds it crazy. He expected a message if someone already cleared the dungeon. He assumed that it's a bug. He got annoyed at Skeleton's weird actions. Skeleton was slashing the wall. Then he realized something. He inspected the wall. Then, a large portal appeared. It was also emitting a dark aura around it. Hyrcan just discovered the instant dungeon, the stage. He had the option to enter. Now, he knew why there weren't any monsters. Instant dungeons are one-time dungeons that spawn randomly in other dungeons. When they appear, the normal dungeons become inactive until the instant dungeon is cleared. They're more difficult compared to normal dungeons, but they also give better rewards. The problem is either they clear the dungeon or die in there. If Hyrcan is being rational, he knew that he should give that up because he won't be able to play for 2 days if he dies. He knew that it would be better for him to give it up and do other quests instead. But they had entered the stage, and he just needs to clear it. Upon entering, he was blinded by a light. He arrived in an arena. He felt that the Colosseum is kind of scary. He wondered what's going to come out. He heard a loud roar, and a large bipedal wolf-like monster appeared. It's a corrupted werewolf with unknown levels. Hyrcan didn't expect to be corrupted in a place like that. It attacked them. Hyrcan groaned in pain. Skeleton Warrior saw that Hyrcan was no longer beside it. It angered Skeleton. Hyrcan let out a small laugh, then it laughed out loud. It caught the skeleton's attention. Hyrcan finds himself lucky. Corrupted monsters are related to the main quest. He told Skeleton that if they don't kill it, there will be no dinner. Hyrcan charges at the monster. Skeleton Warrior assumed combat stance. Hyrcan leverages on Skeleton's sword to jump higher. He attacked from above. The monster noticed him. He inflicted a curse. Hyrcan's hand glowed and released a dark aura. He used the demon's curse skill and enveloped his sword with it. The monster was caught off guard, and in one swift move, Hyrcan slashed it. The wolf didn't even realize that its arm was already cut off. Hyrcan had a superhero landing after performing the attack. The demon's curse was activated. The stats of the target were reduced by 10%. Hyrcan commented that the skill wasn't so bad, even though it's his first time using it. That angered the corrupted monster. It growled loudly while charging in. The system notified Hyrcan that the corrupted werewolf is enraged. All status effects are nullified. Hyrcan commented that it wouldn't be an instant dungeon if it was that easy. He was saving a technique for later, but he decided to try it at that moment. He stated, "Slot on," while holding his watch like some Power Rangers, trying to transform. His body glowed. The light envelopes him until it gave a blinding spark. Hyrcan then stepped out. He now has his armor on and was ready to get on with the fight. Slot on is one of the Warlord's unique features. When a player uses Slot on, they are temporarily empowered with strength, drawn from the world of Warlord. It manifests a boosted form. That form varies greatly from player to player, so it's safe to say that it will be your unique identity inside the game, which is why most users often call it the so-called ultimate mode. And right now, our boy's ultimate form looked like a Grim Reaper, fitting to his class as a Necromancer. The corrupted werewolf roared loudly. It runs towards Hurkan. It tried to slash Hurkan using its claws, but Hurkan evaded it. It continuously attacked, but Hurkan dodged all of it. Hurkan landed on his knees. The monster attacked him, but he was able to evade it quickly. He admitted that the boss monster's power, speed, everything was overwhelming. Hurkan knew that if it lands 4 hits, or even at least 3, it would be the end of him. It charges forward again, but Hurkan just grinned. He released a powerful counterattack and slashed the shit out of the corrupted wolf. It sliced the monster's torso. Hurkan commented that it's what makes the game fun. But then, he was taken aback when the monster released an attack that made the ground shatter. Hurkan remembered that the monster was in an enraged state. Hurkan looked like he was having fun. He called the monster and reminded it that it's forgetting something. Our boy Skeleton Warrior charges in. Skeleton slashes it. And just like its master, it was able to cut one of the monster's arms. Then Hurkan told the skeleton that they will do the move that they practiced. Skeleton nodded. The monster was overwhelmed. Skeleton and Hurkan attacked it at the same time, leaving several slashes on the monster. It was heavily injured until the notification appeared that Hurkan had hunted it. Slot On was deactivated afterwards. Hurkan thought that it wasn't that bad, considering it was their first time trying those moves. Few moments later, a card appeared. It showed that their quest to subjugate the monsters around the cave of Bima Mountain is done. The Skeleton Warrior has defeated a very powerful monster. Hurkan's skeleton fragment skill has risen to rank E. He also earned 20,856 gold, a werewolf skull, and a werewolf hide. Hurkan commented that the instance rewards were really juicy. Skeleton celebrated with a dance. Hurkan also obtained Necklace of the Corrupted Tracker. It increases class-related stats by plus 18. It is also an untradeable, bound item. Hurkan got a new title, Corrupted Tracker. Hurkan was surprised to find that it's a chronicle unique, even though it's untradeable, a higher tier than standard unique items. Then he saw the title. The system informed him that 3 new titles have been registered. One is Promising Rook, which increases intelligence and magic by 3%. Initially, that was what Hurkan was aiming for. He also got the Challenger of Heroes, which increases stamina by plus 3. Hurkan learned that the Hero series also showed up there too. But thinking about it, it made sense since he cleared the instance dungeon alone. Then the last title is the Corrupted Tracker. He was surprised to see it because it is the intro title for the first chapter for the main quest, Count Corruption. The main quest is the core storyline that forms the backbone of Warlord's universe. Because the rewards are extraordinary, every player wants to get involved somehow. It's Warlord's flagship content. In Hurkan's previous life, he barely got into the 4th chapter, and yet now, he already unlocked it. It made him think that it isn't just luck. He knew he hit the jackpot. He immediately logs out. It was dusk. Jahan watches a live breaking news. Someone on the screen announced that the Hydra Guild is officially entering the final chapter of the Count Corruption scenario. Their goal is to complete it within 3 months. Jahan paused the video. He thought about it and realized that he was wrong for seeing it as a jackpot. Someone's already at the final chapter of Count Corruption, so if he jumps in now, he won't get anything. He sees it as a waste. He thought about giving up this round and aiming for the next chapter. Then he thought of something, that maybe it's actually an opportunity for him, because the whole world is focused on Count Corruption with massive interest. It's the first main quest of the Warlord, and it's on the verge of being cleared. He thought about what would happen if a video related to the Count Corruption gets released at that moment. The views would be insane. The money got Jahan excited. He was glad that he recorded his gameplay. He plans to edit it and upload it straight to WTube. He knew that editing is key, so he can't just have anyone do it. He has one person in mind, the one who was called the God of Editing in his past life, And that said person immediately received his message, the filmmaker Romani. She received the request about the video editing for Hurkan. She doubted as to what great video is a level 15 gonna make from clearing a dungeon. She judged that it was some rich newbie trying to show off on social media. But when she watched the video, it got her on her feet. She claimed that she found it. She's pertaining to her muse. Romani is a freelance video editor. Her nickname is Hellmouth. It was nighttime. A rich lady in her hotel suite was addressed as an executive. Her subordinate hurriedly answers her summon. She uttered that a video related to the Count corruption just went up. She showed it to her subordinate while saying that it was interesting, especially coming from a level 15 who soloed a corrupted werewolf. The subordinate replied that their team checked it too. He didn't think much of it, since the corrupted werewolf's level is low. The woman replied that she likes it, and she wants that. She wants him to bring it to her. This woman is Che Seolian. She is the #1 in the business world rankings, and also the Thunder Group's successor. Her warlord nickname is Queen of Thunder Suri, the very same person that messed up our MC in his previous life. Outside the game, Jae-hyun checked his phone. It surprised him that his video received so many views when he just uploaded it yesterday. It had reached 6,000 views. It took him a couple of months to get to that many views in his previous life. He noticed that another thing had changed. Romani reached out to him first. Normally, she doesn't reach out to people first because she's supposed to be a mysterious character. At this point, our MC didn't know that Romani is a girl, that's why he's still addressing her as a guy. Romani sent Jaehan a sticker rose, and it made Jaehan want to block him. They continued chatting. Romani asked when she could get the next video. Jaehan wonders the same thing. He doesn't know what he should do for his next video, and he knew that there's no way he's going to find a monster like that corrupted wolf again. It made him think about what he should do. He knew that he needed to strike the iron while it shot. He entered the game. Meanwhile, someone was watching the video of Hurkan of Haho Mask. It was Mathador Chev. He was impressed with Hurkan's movements, regardless of how many times he watched. Mathador Chev feels that Hurkan is familiar. Someone asked him who. It was a gorgeous woman with red hair. Her name is Yel. Mathador Chev stated that he's talking about Hurkan from Haho Mask. He shared that the guy has been a hot topic recently. Yel replied that it would be strange if that guy didn't look familiar when Mathador Chev watches him so much. Mathador Chev realizes that she's right. But Mathador Chev passionately expressed that the game makes it feel like they're moving in real life, so a newbie would be timid with their movements. But that is not the case for Hurkan. He was also impressed with how Hurkan trained his summon. It was on a different level compared to the other necromancers. Mathador Chev was like a fan on how passionately talked about Hurkan. He wondered if Hurkan would accept duel requests. Yel told him to stop and advised him to get back inside if he's just going to blabber about useless topics. They're going live in 5 minutes. Mathador Chev winked at Yel and told her that he always appreciates her. Yel told him to do good on the live stream. That was because over 200,000 people bought live tickets, just so they could see Mathador Chev in action, the leader of the Red Bulls, also known as man ranked 9th in Warlord. He was notified that a dungeon gate would be opening soon. The countdown had started. Mathador Chev waited. Then he smirked and called all his members. And he yelled, "Prepare for battle!" inside the game, at the Raiders Association, Figus Castle Branch. Hurkan looked like a zombie as he uttered that what he's looking for isn't there. He slammed the table as he found out that there were no quests. He expected it to some degree, but he couldn't believe that there could really be 0 good quests. He decided to put a hold on making more videos for now. Then, a man approached him and recognized him as the adventurer who cleared the cave of Bima Mountain Dungeon. Hurkan recognized him. It was the guy from before. The guy introduced himself as Hotan, and he asked Hirkan to talk. He expressed that he heard all about it, that Hirkan found a mutant in the cave of Bhima. Hirkan doesn't remember there being a quest. Hirkan replied that he saw werewolves with strange eyes. Hotan expected that. He told Hirkan that there's a high chance that he encountered a monster that has been exposed to the power of the corrupt one. He admitted that they haven't figured out exactly who they are, but he's certain that their power is causing monsters to go on a rampage and that many have fallen victim to them. That's why the Raiders Association put a bounty on them. Hirkan grabbed the hand of Hotan, and he expressed his interest in assisting in capturing the evil bastard. Hotan was confused. Hirkan knew it was a hidden quest. Hotan replied that it's too early for Hirkan, but Hirkan insisted that he will be fine. Hirkan was assertive, to the point that Hotan gave in. Hotan informed Hirkan that he will give him a chance based on how well he will do. He told him that there's a person named Ahimbri at Bangsu Castle, which is east of Figus Castle. That caught the attention of our MC. Apparently, that guy will be able to teach Hirkan. He planned to give Hirkan a recommendation letter. He received the teaching of Ahimbri. His task is to find Ahimbri and show him Hotan's letter of recommendation. The reward is a skill book. Hirkan trembled. When he was outside, he celebrated. He caught the attention of the passerby. He couldn't believe he got a quest to become Ahimbri's student. One of the 7 disciples of the great mage Bokan is the NPC Ahimbri. All the mages want to meet him because he provides the most rare skill books. In other words, he's a very important NPC. Hirkan speculated that he got the opportunity because his Rising Star title overlapped with the Corrupted Count main quest, and if he does it well, he won't ever have to worry about video materials from then on. But then he thought of something, that there was something he had to take care of before he did that. At the forest, Hirkan stood there. He used a skeleton fragment. The skull came out. Skeleton Warrior was summoned once again, and Hirkan stated that he hasn't taken a look at his rewards from the last battle. He planned to use the werewolf's skull that he didn't sell off. The system asked him if he would like to use a werewolf's skull to strengthen the Skeleton Warrior. A skull covered the skull. The system notified that the Skeleton Warrior has gained the traits of a werewolf's toughness +2. Hirkan also equipped the necklace of the Corrupted Tracker. The effects of the necklace of the Corrupted Tracker had been applied to Hirkan, so he gained +18 on all his stats. All class-related stats have been increased. Now, Hirkan was done with the prep work. He used 2 more skeleton fragments and threw it on the ground. Both released a bright light until it formed 2 new skeleton warriors. The first skeleton warrior was in disbelief and confusion. Hirkan informed the skeleton warriors that the 3 of them will fight as a unit, so they had to get along with each other. The skeleton warrior number 1 was utterly surprised. The first skeleton warrior looked like he was in despair as he didn't want that. But Hirkan didn't care much. He just tried to remember what the monsters were in the region. Moments later, a level 25 forest bear attacked them. It was powerful, but Hirkan swiftly evaded it. Our boy wasn't even breaking a sweat against these monsters. The forest bear used its other arm to attack. Hirkan screamed like he's scared. But he actually planned to aggro the forest bear, and then a skeleton warrior joined the battle. Before it could attack the bear's paw hit it and threw it on the ground. Hirkan was annoyed. That kind of obvious attack won't work. He told the skeleton warrior that it needs to go in from the blind spot. He called the next skeleton warrior. It jumped as it prepared to stab the forest bear, but the forest bear smacked it the same way as the first one. At this point, Hirkan couldn't control his temper, since he just told them to come in from the blind spot. He questioned why this guy is doing the exact same thing the previous guy did. He's frustrated. But someone stepped in that got his attention. It was the first skeleton warrior, and it appeared with a flashy pose. Hurkan blushed and had high hopes for it. He even called it Skelly. Then it jumped. It looked serious. Hurkan thought that this one could be his hope. But in one smack, its skull went flying. Hurkan couldn't believe that just happened. In his frustration, all he could do was to shout out loud, "You idiots!" After that, he had those three raise their skulls. They were even kneeling. This served as punishment. Eventually, Hurkan told them to put their heads back on. Then he lectured them that when monsters get attacked, the monsters will turn to the direction the attack is coming from. He drew on the ground as he told the skeletons that they had to come in from the blind spot. He asked what would happen if they charged in from where the monster was looking. The three skeletons looked clueless. Hurkan told them never mind, since it's just pissing him off even more. Hurkan thought that it's great that his skill rank increased and he can summon 3 skeletons now thanks to the effects of Necklace of the Corrupted Tracker. But the problem is, the 3 skeletons can't work together. They all share whatever Hurkan taught one of them before. But because they haven't learned how to fight together, they don't know how to do it. They cost triple the mana, but they're even worse than before. Hurkan decided to put it off, saying that he reached level 20 like he wanted. But then, he had to pause on making fighting videos for a while. He told the skeletons to get up since they will train, until they reach the Bangtsu Castle. Hurkan was hoping to be able to leave the fighting to those guys, while he sat back and relaxed, just like what a necromancer should do. He realized he can't avoid having to be on the forefront. Hurkan wasn't thrilled about that. He thought, my fate is cursed. At Raiders Association Bangtsu Castle branch, it was crowded. Lots of players were here waiting for something. One guy walked towards the staircase. Then, as if they were zombies, people went crazy as soon as they saw the guy was out. They grabbed him. People were aggressive. They inquired as to what quest the guy received. Hurkan saw it and thought about how they're like hyenas. He expected to find those kinds of people anywhere. They don't even try to work hard on their own. They only wanted to leech off of other people. Someone approached him and asked for any good quests. Hurkan told the guy to fuck off. Hurkan was cautious not to let them find out that he's doing the Ahimbri quest. He gave the letter of recommendation from Hotan. The guard confirmed it and directed him to go up to the 2nd floor. The guys went crazy saying that they are in a party with Hurkan, so they should be allowed to go up. Hurkan was looking forward as to what kind of reward Ahimbri has for him. He expected it to be something good since it's a hidden quest. He saw the door. He optimistically foresees a long-lasting relationship with Ahimbri. He was in awe as soon as he opened the door, because it was so messy. There are mountains of skill books just lying on the floor. Someone spoke and asked who he was. The guy looked haggard and hostile. He expressed that he doesn't remember having any appointments that day. It's Ahimbri, an NPC. Hurkan was surprised. It made him wonder if Ahimbri always had that character. Hurkan introduced himself and gave the recommendation letter from Hotan. Ahimbri stated that Hurkan looked like a mage trainee, but with the letter it made him think that Hurkan is skilled for his level. Hurkan simply replied that he was just lucky. Ahimbri gave him the promised rewards. Hurkan received the skill books, bone armor, and madness helm. Hurkan was surprised to receive 2, and those books looked super rare. He was about to express his gratitude, but Ahimbri already dismissed him. The system showed Hurkan that the teachings of Ahimbri quest had been completed. Hurkan panicked since it ended so quickly. He needs Ahimbri to give him the next quest. He didn't go through all of that just to get a couple of skills. He chased after Ahimbri. Hurkan promised him that he will do anything. Then, Ahimbri grasped his hands. "Anything, you say?" And with a devilish expression on his face, he thanked Hurkan. Hurkan received the quest, the Egg of the Nest. His task is to bring the egg from the nest. but it doesn't have any rewards. He was in disbelief that a Himbri got him. He thought he was scammed. Meanwhile, the crowd watches as an armed man walks the streets. This man caught attention because the gear was super expensive. The man arrived at the association. It was his destination. Because that is where Ha-Ho Mask is. Back to our MC, the door was closed with a loud slam when Harkan exited. He just learned that it's possible to be scammed by an NPC. He thought a Himbri would at least give a quest related to the main quest. Now he's puzzled as to what this egg quest is. He complained about not getting a reward. He asked if he really needed to do it. Someone heard him and asked what it was. This guy was looking forward to Hirkan to say that it's a quest. Hirkan was alarmed. Then the crowd jumped on Hirkan after assuming that he received a quest. Hirkan forgot about them. Now he doesn't know what to do. He wondered if he should just kill them. Suddenly, someone ordered them to move. A knight appeared and pulled those men away from Hirkan. The knight asked Hirkan if he had a moment, because he would love for them to talk somewhere quiet. Hirkan had no idea who this guy was. Hirkan yelled at him to fuck off. The knight told him to cooperate. Then the knight whispered in Hirkan's ears, "Mr. Hey-Ho Mask." That caught Hirkan off guard. They went to a narrow alleyway. The knight apologized for troubling Hirkan. He knew that they wouldn't be able to talk comfortably. When there's people around. The knight removed his mask. Hirkan observed and saw that from the gear that this guy has, he has to be a ranker at least. But Hirkan couldn't recall him from his memories. Hirkan wondered who he was and how he knew who he was. Then, the guy straightforwardly asked if he's Ha-Ho Mask. Hirkan knew that in that situation, he needs to pretend like he doesn't know. So, he replied to the guy asking who this Ha-Ho Mask guy that he's been talking about. The guy was puzzled. Then Hirkan explained that he followed him out there because the guy wanted to talk, and Hirkan insists that he doesn't know who Ha-Ho Mask is. The guy was confused because he's under the impression that Hirkan just got a quest from an NPC named Ahimbri. Hirkan asked the guy who he is and why Hirkan would share information with him. He expressed that being dragged out there already pisses him off. Hirkan taunts the guy that if he's looking for a fight, he should put his account on the line and kill him. Then he gave the guy a middle finger. Even if Hirkan doesn't know the guy, all he needs to do is pretend like he doesn't know. He waited for the guy's next move. The guy extended his hand and bowed. He admits that he made a mistake. Hirkan was slightly caught off guard. He reached out for the extended hand and asked the guy if he's scared. Then he started walking away while telling the guy that he's only letting him slide once. He insulted the guy, calling him a pathetic jerk looking for a fight. The knight watches him walk away. Then, a person from the shadows appeared and expressed that Hirkan isn't Ha-Ho Mask. The knight replied that the only thing they're certain of is that Hirkan is not a skilled player. The knight stated that if someone had played Warlord for some time, the person would know better than to carelessly reach out their arm with the War Watch. The woman who was hidden in the shadows earlier asked if they must really keep watching around Ahimbri. She uttered that the corrupt Count quest is almost over. Even if someone were to find out, there would be no point. The knight responded that the Egg of the Nest quest is the main quest, and that they shouldn't take unnecessary risks. The woman replied that she's going back to position. The knight walked away, too. Unbeknownst to them, someone from a window was watching them. It was Hirkan, and he was surprised to know that there's two of them. He's certain that those two are part of an organization since they are working together. But he knew that if they were from a regular guild, they would have made a deal after telling him who they are. That is why he's certain that those are not just average guys for testing him like that. Hirkan became cautious on who those guys are, outside the city. We see the skeleton warriors are having their training with each other while our boy is lost in thought. Hirkan knew one thing, that there's something more to the nest egg quest that he got. He assumed that those guys saw his video and knew that Ha-Ho Mask would receive the quest from a Himbri. But since they had let him go easily, they might not care who Ha-Ho Mask is. Hercon doesn't know what's up with the quest, but he knows that if he continues like that, he's bound to keep running into them. He can't even upload videos for a while if he wants to avoid them. It made him question why crazy people keep ruining his life. He complained that Seol-Yan alone is already too much for him to handle. And speaking of this thick mommy devil, she just logged out of the game. Park Suji, Seol-Yan's secretary, praised her for the good work. She inquired on how the guild entrance exam went. Seol-Yan replied that they were all trash. She angrily questioned why not a single one of them is useful. Suji got scared of her. Seol-Yan asked if there's any updates from the Ha-Ho Mask that she mentioned last time. Suji remembered that it was the person who uploaded the video. Suji replied that the person must have entered another guild since he hasn't responded yet. Seol-Yan's displeased expression was scary. Suji took back what she said and promised to look into it again. Seol-Yan told her to come back when she's certain. Then Seol-Yan asked what the president said. She also started changing her clothes in front of Suji. Suji informed her that the president hasn't said anything. Seol-Yan uttered that the president is not saying anything because Warlord is doing so well. The president forcefully tried to arrange a marriage when she first told him about playing the game. Seol-Yan was changing her clothes while speaking with Suji. Suji blushed as she listened and adored Seol-Yan. Seol-Yan ordered her to get a new set of applicants and report to her by tomorrow morning. Suji turned pale as soon as she realized it because that's too soon. But she never had the chance to complain because Seol-Yan already left the room. Suji stated that Seol-Yan has such a bad personality. Meanwhile, Hirkan visited a place that he hasn't been in for quite some time. It's the Lizard Swamp. A Himbri is currently in Bangtsu Castle. That is why he knew that the quest should be around that region. Since the quest was related to finding an egg, Hirkan assumed that it had to be either a bird, reptile, or insect-type monster. And narrowing it down to places he could go with his current level, the Lizard Swamp was the only place. He told the skeleton to come forward. He stated that the monsters in there are high level, so he should probably use the enhancement skill that he learned last time. It's called Madness Helm, and to use it, he needs to engrave on the target's head and cast a spell to activate. He activated it by saying the words, "Helm on," and then an ancient letter appeared on the skeleton's forehead. The skeleton glowed brightly in red. It was cool. The skeleton growled. It was now emitting this red, ominous aura around it. Then Hirkan wanted to test it, so he told the skeleton to attack him. There was actually a special note below the screen. It stated that there is a chance that the summon loses its sanity. Our boy wanted to test its new power up, so it commanded it to attack him. The skeleton attacked without any hesitation. Hirkan was taken aback. In annoyance, he punched it, sending its skull flying in the sky. There was a moment of silence from the shock. He's annoyed at this skeleton for daring to scream at him. This also served as a warning for the other two. Hirkan wondered if it was some kind of bug. He knew nothing had changed, so it made him think that he was scammed with the skill. But while thinking about it, something appeared behind him. Multiple level 30 lizard men dashed towards our MC, but instead of panicking, Hirkan was pleased that the test subjects were just in time. He marked another skull, and it increases the summon's stats, with an increase rate of 1.2x. Hirkan also activated the bone armor. It equips the summon with armor, and the armor that is currently available to summon is a chest plate. The skeletons looked leveled up and fierce. Skeleton army is ready for the battle. Even the lizard men were intimidated. Hirkan flicked his finger and made the skeletons charged at those. They really looked like some mad undeads. The skeletons attacked the lizardmen. One skeleton even went behind the lizard man's back. Then, it ended it with just one slash. Hyrcan was notified that the skeleton warriors had slain 3 lizard men, which garnered him plus 864 experience points. These guys also kneeled before their master after the fight. Hyrcan was happy with that, so he decided that for the next week, they will be hunting down monsters and looking for the egg. And if they found out that they aren't in the quest region, they will move to somewhere else. He left. Little did he know, a woman watched him. That woman licked her lips. Her name is Lilia, and in her perspective, she's a top-tier beauty. She wanted to be humble, but she also thinks that it's the truth. Everyone likes her no matter what she does, and that is why her life has been so easy. And if she acts troubled, then her slaves will step up and help. She wore high heels in the forest and got off balance, so she fell face down on a puddle. She looked pathetic. She's annoyed and whining about hating the place. Turns out one of her slaves brought her there to help her level up. But the guy ended up dying right away, so she's stuck there. The monsters are too high level, and it's hard to walk around the area. She looked for someone she can trick. Then she saw Hyrcan. She sets her eyes on a new slave. This bitch even ripped her own clothes, just so she could look a little seducing. And that was when Hyrcan heard someone screaming. Lilia purposely fell on the ground and acted helpless as she begged for help. She tried to charm Hyrcan by saying that she hurt her legs because of the monsters. She was expecting Hyrcan to be affected by a lady in pain, and that he wouldn't help but to help her. But Hyrcan just walked away. Lilia's jaw dropped as she learned that he'll just leave like that. A top-tier beauty like her is injured, and Hyrcan is just ignoring it. She tried calling out to him. Hyrcan was thinking that she's another crazy person. Lilia bites her lip in anger. She couldn't believe he just ignored her. Hyrcan continued to watch over the skeletons who were engaged in a fight. He sighed. He finds her annoying. Lilia kept crying, acting pitiful. Hyrcan was ignoring her because he didn't want to waste any time. But she keeps following him. Hyrcan thought, if you're in game, then play the damn game properly, you fuckers. And the faces of his old guild members came into his mind. Hyrcan decided that it would be faster to just deal with this annoying woman. He asked what she needed. Lilia told him that she dropped her sword in one of the swamps while hunting and she requested for his help to retrieve it. Hyrcan told her that she better fuck off once she gets it back. Lilia promised her that. She relayed her gratitude, but deep inside, she's thinking that she got him on her bait. She pointed at the sword. Bitch expressed her gratitude. Hyrcan told her that it's fine and reminded her promise to fuck off after he gets it back for her. Hyrcan ordered the skeletons to get it. The skeleton made their way. Skelly number 1 was even annoyed doing that kind of task. All the while, Lilia kept thanking him while scheming something behind his back. She knew that necromancers are nothing without their summons. She attacked Hyrcan from behind. She wants him to die. But our not-simp MC turned around and teased her for being too slow. Lilia was surprised. Hyrcan grabbed her and threw her in the sky. Lilia fell on the swamp. When she rose above the water, she cursed at him. She threatened him that he won't get away with it, and her bodyguards would destroy him in no time. Hyrcan laughed at her and pointed behind her. She was confused as to what's behind her. It was those lizard men. They attacked her. Hyrcan yelled at her that if she's going to threaten him, she needs to do a better job. He teased her and told her that he saw through her from the start. He called her an idiot. Hyrcan had enough of being scammed. He was annoyed to have wasted time. He told them that they will leave. When he checked what they're doing, the skeleton was doing weird poses to practice its charm. I bet they got the idea from bitch Lilia. He bonked their heads and scolded them for learning weird things. Hirkan smiled brightly when he was notified that player Lilia had died. He was pleased to know that he got points for that. He didn't expect it since he didn't kill him with his hands. He recalled her threat. "My bodyguards could destroy you in no time." He made fun of her for relying on her bodyguards. "Bodyguards, my ass!" He bets that someone like her doesn't have bodyguards. Little did he know that Lilia's fanatics watched their interactions. Hardcore simps are on. They were to be plot fodders. At the swamp, someone was stabbed by a knife. The man cursed at Hirkan. He wanted to take revenge for Lilia. Hirkan questioned the guy as to why he's going so far for her, especially when it looked like the guy wasn't getting anything out of it. He asked him if he thinks Lilia will go out with him if he asks. Hirkan probed further as to why this man is so obsessed over a woman he met in a game. The man laughed out loud, which caught Hirkan off guard. Then this simp yelled that it was because he loves her. Hirkan got annoyed by his answer and instantly slashed the man. He uttered "what a joke" with a disgusted expression. He thought about that freak earlier, who kept trying to trick him. So Hirkan decided to get rid of her, and he never thought about what Lilia said back then would turn out to be true. Lilia acted pitiful and expressed that she was sad. She stated that all she did was ask for help, and the necromancer attacked her all of a sudden. That angered her fans. And thanks to that, Hirkan started to run into crazy bastards every day. He's already anxious enough because he can't find the quests, and now he has a bunch of gooners after him. He wondered if he should find that woman and kill her again, but he knew it might lead into even bigger problems. System notified that he obtained the ownerless watch. The system informed him that he had obtained 5011 G, Goblin's leather boost, and a rare necklace called Necklace of Promise. Hirkan remembered that it's a super rate item that can be sold for book 1. His opinion then changed. He now thinks love is great. Hirkan and the 3 skeletons raised their arms up high in celebration while Hirkan thanked those bastards. Hirkan kissed the watch as he was thinking how he would have a fancy dinner. Suddenly, a man arrived yelling that he had found Lilia's enemy. Hirkan proudly stated that he's the one who killed Lilia. Then he welcomed everyone. But he noticed something. Our boy didn't expect that the whole simp club were there, and boy oh boy, there were so many of them. Hirkan ran the shit away. Those men were after Hirkan to kill him. Hirkan glanced back while running, wondering how many of them were there. He was surprised to learn that there are that many people obsessed over that woman. He ran as fast as he could. He cursed. Then, with a flick of his fingers, he ordered his skeletons to attack. One man expected that skeleton summons, and he knew a comrade who could deal with it. The guy with glasses activated his skill. He called it the power of love. In Hirkan's head, he screamed that there's no such skill. The system notified Hirkan that his skeleton had been destroyed. Hirkan realized that those men seemed to be higher level than him, and there are a lot of them. He doesn't think that he'll be able to fight them head on. He ran away as fast as he could, but he vowed that those guys are dead once he levels up. They chased after him. Hirkan was out of breath because of those persistent bastards. It was hard for him to shake them off because Hirkan is under-leveled comparatively. He knew that he just needed to keep running away. But when he realized it, he's already lost. The place was different from others. He doesn't remember such a place being in a lizard swamp. Hirkan had been looking around the area for days, but he had never seen that kind of black swamp before. It made him think. Our boy became certain that this place was what he's looking for. Meanwhile, the simp fanatics continued looking for Hirkan. One man pointed in front and announced that he saw the skeleton. They were dumbfounded when they saw those skeletons having a dance party. Their jaws dropped as they watched the dance moves of these skeletons. The man who pointed at those skeletons got triggered. He uttered that Hirkan is insulting them too. The other man was confused, if that was really the intention. The man charges at the skeleton while yelling that he won't ever forgive Hirkan. Before he could reach the skeleton, a large creature appeared. He was surprised and terrified. He knew he messed up. The creature's long tongue grabbed the man. The others turned pale because it was a dragon lizard. It is at level 40, and it is the boss monster of the lizard swamp. They panicked while Hirkan is hiding behind the tree, watching them. He never thought the nest would be the dragon lizard's nest. Dragon lizard is a boss monster with overwhelming defense, health, and attack, which takes a party of 20 players with an average level of 40 to barely be able to hunt it down. Hurkan had heard that the dragon lizard raid was completed a while ago, so normally, the boss wouldn't be there. However, if someone with a related quest enters the field, the monster will respawn. In other words, since the dragon lizard is there, Hurkan is certain that it is the place where Ahimbras's quest takes place. Hurkan realized that Ahimbri sent him there to defeat that thing and bring back the egg when he's just a level 20 player. Hurkan called Ahimbri a scammer for doing something so ridiculous. It annoyed him. But luckily, he was able to gather some good teammates, so he thinks it's fine. One man yelled that the dragon lizard was too much for them. He suggested retreating, but Hurkan told them that they can't do that. Hurkan summoned the boosted skeletons. They were in berserk mode, and blocked the path for those guys. Now they didn't really have a choice but to fight the dragon lizard. One man suggested forcing their way through, but before he could do anything, the tail of the dragon lizard swats him away. Those men feel trapped with the dragon lizard behind them too. One man noticed that the necromancer was running away. While Hurkan was running away with a grin on his face, he was thanking his teammate for their sacrifice. Hurkan knew that it's the right opportunity to quickly rob an empty nest. He moves as swiftly as possible. He got inside the nest and was ready to take the egg, but he turned pale. Hurkan saw that the egg wasn't there. He couldn't accept that and thought that it's just there somewhere. He looked around until he found one ominous cone-shaped thing with a mark. It also exudes a dark aura around it. He stared at it and thought of how he found the most suspicious thing he could, but he's hesitant because it's closer to a stone than an egg. But he also knew that there's nothing else even remotely close to an egg. Hurkan's egg hunt was interrupted when he was notified that the skeleton warrior had been destroyed. He immediately got up since it might be a sign that the dragon lizard is coming back after detecting an intruder. Time is up for Hurkan. The dragon lizard instantly showed up and made a loud noise. Fortunately, Hurkan had already hidden. That was close. Now that it's back, Hurkan can't search through the nest again. So he had no choice but to bring the stone-looking thing with him, even though he believes that it's not an egg. He then thought of Ahimbri's mean-looking face if he fails this task. The status window displayed the task to bring back an unknown egg from the nest, but there's no reward. Few moments later, several men float in the black swamp. One was coughing. Hurkan crouches in front of him and greets, "Yo!" Hurkan commented that Warlord is such an interesting game. He commented that there are so many freaks because they get so much freedom. He took the watch. The guy cursed at him, but before he could finish his sentence, he was stopped by something. It was Hurkan's blade, and he made it clear to the guy that he had been playing with them as a joke, but he has a lot on the line in the game. So next time, he won't let them off easily. The warning is for the fanatics and that woman. The guy was left trembling in fear. Hurkan crossed the swamp by stepping on the men laying there. Hurkan was so annoyed. He was thinking that if those men come after him again, even after he warned them, he will wage a full-out war. Now, it's time for Hurkan to get some extra cash. Get the moolah. He called the Bangtsu Guild and informed them that he just spotted a dragon lizard in the swamp. He informed them that he will sell the location for 100,000 G. But to his disappointment, the person on the line thought it was a prank call. He clarified that he's being serious. Few hours later, Hurkan placed the egg on the table and mumbled, "Ah, brang that thing you talk about," which just translates to, "I brought the thing you talked about." Hurkan prayed that what he brought was the right one, because he doesn't want to go searching through the map again. Ahimbri inspected it, and he uttered that, "It is exactly," Hurkan anticipated. It was the item that he's looking for. He was then praised for his good work. Hurkan was glad that he got it right. Ahimbri commented that Hurkan is faster than he expected. Ahimbri thought it would take him much longer for someone like Hurkan. Hurkan was annoyed since Ahimbri already knew that, but still gave him the quest. Hirkan expressed that he gave it his everything. He asked for the next quest. Ahimbri asked Hirkan if he was aware of what it was. Ahimbri told him that whenever they researched the area around where the mutated monsters were, that thing was always found. That is why Ahimbri temporarily named it as the Corruption Stone. Hearing this made our MC jolt a bit. Hirkan realized that it must be the reason why those guys are after him. He finally caught up. The Corruption Stone is an important item related to the main quest. He remembered the knight who approached him and realized that they wanted to make sure someone else gets their hands on the item that could impact the flow of the main quest later down the line. Hykran thought he was being scammed when he got the quest, but he never expected it to be the main quest. Then his thoughts were cut off when Ahimbri apologized to him. He knew that the quest would be too much for him, but he did it because they are also facing an unknown, powerful being, and he needed to test Hirkan's willpower. Ahimbri asked him if he's ready to fight against corruption. Hirkan clenched his fist. He knew that being a part of the main quest is a golden opportunity unlike any other. Hirkan enthusiastically expressed that he would devote his body and soul. Ahimbri cut him off mid-sentence, saying that it wouldn't be right away. Our MC's expectations were shattered. Ahimbri told him that he must already know how strong the monsters are. He doesn't think that he should give such a quest to a beginner. Hirkan panicked as he realized that he might be too low-leveled to continue with the quest. He was about to protest when Ahimbri told him that if he said, "O great mage Ahimbri, please take me as your disciple," Ahimbri might help him train. Ahimbri was such a bully. Few moments later, Hirkan left the room. The system informed him that he completed the quest, Egg of the Nest, and obtained the title Ahimbri's Disciple. Then the quest, Ahimbri's Teaching, started. Hirkan felt embarrassed by what he went through with the guy. He claimed that Ahimbri is such a scammer. Back at the swamp, the dragon lizard was being burned down. The men celebrated that it was finally over. The healer called those who were injured to come to him. One man expressed to the captain that their guild finally did something big. The captain agreed. He told the man to tell everyone to gather around after getting some rest. A man approached another man, thanking him and expressing that the guy was actually stronger than he expected. He called this guy a helper. It was the same knight who approached Hirkan earlier. This helper replied that it's all thanks to those guys for supporting him so well. This is also the same guy that approached our MC for the quest. The man replied that if it were just them, at least 5 of them would have died. He stated that it's thanks to the helper that they were able to clear it without anyone dying. He expressed that he was skeptical when he heard that there were helpers who got money to help out with boss raids, but now he's glad that he called the guy. The guy gave the helper a pouch containing money. The helper replied that it isn't the promised compensation. The guy replied that it is different from the compensation that they promised. The helper replied no. The helper expressed that he doesn't like violating the rules. The guy was caught off guard. He thought that the man was being a helper for the money. The guy also finds it strange for a ranker to come for such a low-level raid. It made him wonder who that person was. The man uttered that he will be taking every item from the nest as promised. The guy yelled that there shouldn't be anything worth taking from the nest. The helper thought about how he's lucky since he never expected to get an opportunity to get the Corruption Stone. When he heard that the dragon lizard respawned, he was nervous that Heiho Mask was already doing the quest. But since the dragon lizard is still alive, he assumed that Heiho Mask failed to clear the quest. He uttered that defeating a boss monster isn't something someone can do with controls alone. He planned to take the Corruption Stone and stop Heiho Mask from completing the quest. But when he arrived in the nest, it was empty. He trembled in anger and, of course, cursed out loud. Meanwhile, Jae-hyun uttered that it is time. He thought about all those days he spent in pain. He kept telling himself that if he held on for just a little longer, things would get better. But it's time for it to end now. He decided to do it, to order beef. He was trying to conserve food costs as much as possible. But now that he had gotten the main quest, he thinks that that much should be fine. He also got some extra cash this time, so he thinks that it's much more of an appropriate reward for himself. He was excited to convert it into real money. His current balance is now 1,400,856 won. This is like $1,000. He was happy with that. It was now time for him to go get some beef. But after the deductions like debt repayment, utility bills, rent, he was left with 856 won. This is not even $1. Now he can't afford any food at all. He questioned why he's still so broke when he worked his ass off. Then he received a message. Romini asked if he's still alive and if he's quitting WTube completely. He realized he forgot to update about his situation. He replied that he won't be able to make some more videos because some freaks were after him. But he didn't send it. He wondered if he really needed to be wary of those guys when he's about to starve to death. He claimed that he's just an innocent gamer who is enjoying a game. Jaehan was annoyed. He didn't care anymore and decided to do his own thing. Then we see this creepy tombstone, together with these freaking crows. Turns out, Huracan and his skeletons arrived at the Forest of the Dead. A necromancer going to a cemetery? Something's telling me this is kinda spicy. Huracan commented that it was so spooky no matter how many times he had come in there. He thought that it's the best place for him to get experience points. And with its spooky atmosphere, it's great for attracting attention in his videos too. He told his skeletons that they will be hunting. But first, he announced that they are gonna have another teammate. It's a skeleton wearing a mage's robe. Huracan told the 3 skeletons that magic will be part of their strategy, so from then on, they have to get along with the new skeleton. The skeleton mage is a skill that the scammer Ahimbri gave Huracan. They are able to use more advanced spells as his skill master increases. It was a great skill, but it does eat up quite a bit of mana. What they were hunting that day are those. Our boy pointed at something. An arm came out of the ground. Then, more skeletons are emerging. Those are level 33 skeletons. The summoned skeleton's jaw dropped. They were confused that it was funny. Huracan told them that it's coming, but he noticed that his summons weren't moving. He ordered them to hunt it down. The skeleton was shocked. It's like telling them to hunt their own kind. Huracan told them that they would realize something once they start fighting, but undead monsters have a trait different from normal monsters. The summons trembled and hid. Huracan was confused as to what they were doing. He told them to stop wasting so much time since they have a lot to do. He urged them to hurry up and fight. Our MC snapped his finger and the attack mode was activated. One skeleton attacked. It slashed the undead monster. Right skull and ribs were broken. But surprisingly, it became more aggressive. That it spooked the summoned skeleton. Huracan told them that normal attacks won't work. He brought out the mage's hammer, a rare weapon that increases plus 35 strength. Huracan smashed the undead monster using that. Its head flew away as Huracan used it as a baseball bat. He even commented that it's a home run. He asked his summoned skeletons if they saw it. He instructed that they need to hammer its head. The skeletons were terrified and were holding on to their heads. It was funny. Huracan asked them what they're doing. Huracan informed them that the goal for that day is to hunt down 100 skeletons within 100 minutes. He told them that if they didn't succeed, he will leave them there. And of course, these skeletons wouldn't want to become one of the abandoned undeads here. So, they moved at the speed of light. Eventually, the heads were flying. The notification that Huracan had slain a skeleton kept popping out. He also leveled up. Huracan commented that it's great. He thought that it would take the summoned skeletons longer to get used to a weapon that they have never used before. But they are doing better than he expected. He expected the video to be successful. He thought of contacting Romani. But then, Huracan felt the ground shake. A large creature stomped. It was a level 35 skeleton warrior. It was about 3 times that of the ordinary ones. It's a rare monster that spawns randomly. But instead of getting scared, our boy's thought process was like this. A defeated rare monster will be equal to yummy and delicious beef. Huracan and his summoned skeleton's eyes sparkled as they charged in. Huracan told them to get his beef. Huracan was already drooling, thinking about what he should eat first. He thought about steak, or a grilled one, but beef bulgogi sounds good too. He saw the axe coming. It was so powerful that when it hit the ground, it created dent and ripples. Good thing Huracan was able to step back. He expressed that it was scary. He almost died before even getting to do anything. He was glad that he went for its arm first. And the next thing he needs to do is dash once again and destroy one of the key points of these skeleton undeads. He attacked with the skill Pelvis Crusher. He attacked simultaneously with the 3 summoned skeletons until the skeleton warrior shrieked. He checked if all the skeletons were okay. And, of course, these fuckers are safe and sound. Hurkan uttered that it was easier than he thought, but then the skeleton warrior attacked from behind. Our boy already knew about it, and he just glanced at it. He said that it's so impatient. Little did the skeleton warrior know Hurkan had one more skeleton left. The mage skeleton created a flame. It made the flame bigger. This guy had been charging up his skill. It was a huge fireball. And in a split second, the flame engulfed the skeleton warrior. The system informed Hurkan that he had slain the skeleton warrior. He had gained experience points. He expected to gain at least 10,000 views on the video. He felt hungrier now. He decided to go for grilled meat. But suddenly he was notified that the field boss had detected the death of its underling. Hurkan was caught off guard. He was notified that the field boss had found intruders. He was warned that the field boss was awakening. It slowly emerges from the magic circle. It was a gigantic skeleton wearing a large crown headdress. It looked elegant, yet scary. Hurkan was dumbfounded. What? He was shocked to see this level 40 golden skeleton, a boss monster. Golden skeleton is the boss monster of the Forest of the Dead and also the first mage-class boss monster. It's a stronger boss monster that's known as the newbie killer. Hurkan realized that the condition for it to appear was defeating a lot of skeletons. He didn't think about that. He can't guarantee that he can beat it. But if he does, it will be a jackpot. He already knew how. If he buffs his skeletons, he could somehow do it. He called his skeletons, but when he checked, they weren't there. The system notified him that the summoning has been undone due to lack of mana. Ha! Was Hurkan's reaction. He knew he fucked up. He thought about it, and it made sense since he summoned all 4 of them, and he even made the mage cast all those spells, so there's no way he had mana left. It left him no choice. Our boy will now have to face a boss monster all by himself. It was time for Hurkan to warm up his body for the first time in a while. He uttered, "Slot on." His clothing changed. The Necromancer MC we were waiting for is here. He was ready to fight the golden skeleton. He dashes forward. The golden skeleton created several magic circles. It looked menacing. Then it fires beams from the magic circles. Hurkan knew that a single hit would kill him, and it threw so many of them. No wonder it is called the newbie killer. He had no chance of winning if he let it keep casting spells like that. If that's the case, Hurkan just needs to stop it from using them. He hit it, and the fingers were crushed. The golden skeleton was surprised that the magic circle had shattered. Hurkan knew that its hands were connected to the spells, so he decided to destroy all of its hands. The boss monster looked angry. Hurkan was informed that the field boss gazed at him. Then the field boss has successfully seen through him and gauged his level. Its hands made a sign, and it started emitting dark lightning. Hurkan had no idea what's going on. A bright purple light appeared in the dark sky, and it fired a powerful laser beam. Hurkan ran for his life. He had no idea what it was, but the beam chased him. He cursed as he saw it catching up to him. Then he saw it approaching. He tried to speed up as the beam destroyed everything on its way. Hurkan jumped and got down on the ground. He asked what it was. It's a crazy pattern that he can't recall. It made him think if he's remembering it wrong. He questions if the golden skeleton has hidden patterns or if there is a balance patch like they did with minotaurs. But he couldn't remember anything. He thought, it's already been a few years since I last hunted down a golden skeleton. He felt frustrated since he had no summoned skeletons and he can't fully remember its patterns. So, he questioned how he's supposed to beat that. The golden skeleton unleashed another beam. Hurkan decided to try anything that he could. It was raining beams, but he avoided it. Hurkan can dodge its attacks as long as he knows its trajectory. But the problem is that there's no time for him to attack back. He was looking for a blind spot, but he got careless. It grabbed him. Then the boss monster raises Hurkan and screamed to its face. The breath of it made Harkan's hair a mess. It really is an undead monster. Harkan wondered how many patterns this guy has, and at the same time, a magic circle was starting to charge up another beam. But then, our MC smirks and reveals that he has a hidden card on his sleeve. He held his hand out and uttered, "Inflict Curse." This skill is the Demon's Curse, and that made the target's stats decrease by 13%. With its strength stat lowered, Harkan got away from its grip. He didn't know how to get an attack opportunity, but it just gave him one. He prepared his fist and thanked it with a punch. The monster came crashing down. Parts of it got shattered while the skull formed cracks. Harkan declared that the boss was defeated. It went back to its magic circle. Harkan was notified by the system that he had slain the golden skeleton. He also gained experience points, 97,936 G, the title Skeleton Destroyer, and he leveled up. He laughed, as he admits that it was a close one. He disabled Slot On, then he checked his status window. He is at level 36 with 9 titles. His strength is 109, stamina 35, intelligence 101, and mana 141. He felt so happy reaching level 36. He knew that it's dangerous to continue that way. His 141 mana is now a low number considering he invested the bare minimum points in it, but he knew it's not enough. Until then, he was getting by with his titles and fast leveling, but now that he has more skills to use, it's not enough. He increased his strength for the skeleton warriors, but there's no point if the skeleton warriors are gone. He had obtained all the mana titles he could get at that stage. Now he wants better gear, but he doesn't have enough money. He just smiled and thought, fuck it. I don't know. He decided that in the meantime, he'll send the video to Romini and get to level 40, and he will be having beef ramen. Few moments later, the screen displayed the part where Heiho Mask stated, "Boss defeated." The video was paused. Romini sighed. She punched her stuffed toy. Is he insane? She was fangirling, because he defeated a boss monster who was a higher level than him without taking a single hit. And he managed to pull that kind of stunt on the spot without any practice. She claims that he is so talented. She stated that the raw video is already so great, so there's not much for her to edit. She decided to send him the final video file. She wondered what title to put on. She used phrases like, "The man who dominates skeletons," and he can do it by himself. She kept typing, until she decided on the title, Emperor of Solo Play. There it is, folks. She freaking said the title. Thank you all for watching. Please watch this next Giga Chad video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, support the channel by joining the Summon Club membership. You can also support by just liking the video and being awesome.